Don't judge, so that you won't be judged. For the way you judge others is how you will be judged. The measure with which you measure out will be measured to you. Why do you see the splinter in your brother's eye, but not notice the log in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the splinter out of your eye," when you have a log in your own eye? You hypocrite. First, take the log out of your own eye. Then you will see clearly that you can remove the splinter from your brother's eye. Don't give to dogs what is holy, and don't throw your pearls to the pigs. If you do, they will trample them under their feet, then turn and attack you. Keep asking, and it will be given to you. Keep seeking, and you will find. Keep knocking, and the door will be open to you. For everyone who keeps asking receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who keeps knocking, the door will be opened. Is there anyone here who, if his son asked him for a loaf of bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks you for a fish, will give him a snake? So if you, even though you are bad, know how to give your children gifts that are good, how much more will your Father in heaven keep giving good things to those who keep asking him? Always treat others as you would like them to treat you. That sums up the teaching of the Torah and the prophets. Go in through the narrow gate, for the gate that leads to destruction is wide, and road broad, and many travel it. But it is the narrow gate and a hard road that leads to life, and only few find it. Beware of the false prophets. They come to you wearing sheep's clothing, but underneath they are hungry wolves. You will recognize them by their fruit. Can a tree produce good fruit? Can people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every healthy tree produces good fruit, but a poor tree produces bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit, or a poor tree good fruit. Any tree that does not produce good fruit is cut down and thrown in the fire. So you will recognize them by their fruit. Not everyone who says to me, "Lord, Lord," will enter the kingdom of heaven. Only those who do what my Father in heaven wants. On that day, many will say to me, "Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we expel demons in your name? Didn't we perform many miracles in your name?" Then I will tell them to their faces, "I never knew you. Get away from me, you workers of lawlessness." So everyone who hears these words of mine and acts on them will be like a sensible man who built his house on bedrock. The rain fell, the rivers flooded, and the winds blew and beat against that house. But it didn't collapse, because its foundation was on rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a stupid man who built his house on sand. The rain fell, the rivers flooded, the wind blew and beat against that house, and it collapsed. And its collapse was horrendous. When Yeshua had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at the way he taught, for he was not instructing them like the Torah teachers, but as one who had authority himself. After Yeshua had come down from the hill, large crowds followed him. Then a man afflicted with Zarat came, kneeled down in front of him, and said, "Sir, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Yeshua reached out his hand, touched him, and said, I am willing. Be cleansed. And at once he was cleansed from his zerah. Then Yeshua said to him, see that you tell no one, but as a testimony to the people, go and let the Kohen examine you and offer the sacrifice that Moshe commanded. As Yeshua entered Kfar Nahum, a Roman army officer came up and pleaded for help. Sir, my orderly is lying at home paralyzed and suffering terribly. Yeshua said, I will go and heal him. But the officer answered, Sir, I am unfit to have you come into my home. Rather, if you only give the command, my orderly will recover. For I am to a man under authority. I have soldiers under me. I say to one, go, and he goes. To another, come, and he comes. To my slave, do this, and he does it. On hearing this, Yeshua was amazed and said to the people following him, Yes, I tell you, I have not found anyone in Israel with such trust. Moreover, I tell you that many will come from the east and from the west to take places at the feast in the kingdom of heaven with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. But those born for the kingdom will be thrown outside in the dark, where people will wail and grind their teeth. Then Yeshua said to the officer, Go, let it be for you as you have trusted. And his orderly was healed at that very moment. Yeshua went to Kepha's home and there saw Kepha's mother-in-law sick in bed with fever. He touched her head. The fever left her, and she got up and began helping him. When evening came, many people held in the power of demons were brought to him. He expelled the spirits with a word and healed all who were ill. This was done to fulfill what had been spoken through the prophet Yeshayahu. He himself took our weaknesses and bore our diseases. When Yeshua saw the crowd around him, he gave orders to cross to the other side of the lake. A Torah teacher approached him and said to him, Rabbi, I will follow you wherever you go. Yeshua said to him, The foxes have holes and the birds flying around have nests, but the Son of Man has no home of his own. Another of the Talmudim said to him, Sir, first, let me go bury my father. But Yeshua replied, Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead. He boarded the boat and his Talmudim followed. Then, without warning, a furious storm arose in the lake, so that waves were sweeping over the boat, but Yeshua was sleeping. So they came and roused him, saying, Sir, help! We're about to die. He said to them, Why are you afraid? So little trust you have. Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves. There was a dead calm. The men were astounded. They asked, What kind of man is this, that even the winds and sea obey him? When Yeshua arrived at the other side of the lake, in the Gardanese territory, there came out of the burial caves 2 men controlled by demons, so violent that no one dared travel on that road. They screamed, What do you want with us, Son of God? Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time? Now some distance from them a large herd of pigs was feeding. The demons begged him, If you are going to drive us out, send us into the herd of pigs. All right, go on, he told them. So they came out and went into the pigs, whereupon the entire herd rushed down the hillside into the lake and drowned. The swineherds fled, went off into the town and told the whole story, including what had happened to the demonized men. At this, the whole town came out to meet Yeshua. When they saw him, they begged him to leave their district.